workshop on Git and GitHub, and we can get started now. We are live on YouTube. A very good evening to everybody joining us. We are here for the second session of the Coding Week at BlueLearn in partnership with GoldScript, right? And we have Riddhi today with us coming in, and we'll be conducting this workshop on Git and GitHub. Without wasting more time, I think we should just get started with the session. And Riddhi, the platform is all yours.
Okay, so am I audible? Hello.
Yes, you're clearly audible.
Okay. Just a minute. Let me start by sharing my screen.
Sure.
Okay, I hope it's visible to you guys.
Yes, it's visible.
Great. So hello everybody. I'm Riddhi Suteri. I'll be taking this session today. So first and foremost, Vaishnavi has took yesterday's session wherein she has discussed about what is open source, and she has also taught some basic things about Git and GitHub. So I am guessing that most of you guys have Git and GitHub on your systems. But if many of you guys are coming for the first time and you don't have any idea about what is Git and what GitHub is, so don't worry, this will be a very beginner friendly session. And first of all, in the meantime, when I'm interacting, I would want you guys to please go onto your browsers and just simply download Git on your systems. And also you can also go to the github.com and you can create an account if you haven't already. Right. So I was going through the chat and I was seeing that many students are coming in for the first time. They do not have any idea about what Git is and what GitHub is. Many of these people who have like some experience, they believe that Git and GitHub are almost the same thing, right? Which definitely is not. So don't worry. First of all, let's begin with the agenda of the session. That is Git and GitHub. So just a minute, let me present it. Yes. So this session will be on introduction to Git and GitHub, and this session will be more of a practical focus session wherein we will be discussing how to implement things, not just going through the PPTs and just looking into Wikipedia definition and stuff like that. Right? So in this PPT, in this session, we will be first of all discussing what and why it is Git. And next thing, we will be setting up Gits on your systems, and then we will be moving forward with writing some commands or going through some of the commands of Git. And then we will discuss what GitHub is and what are some terminologies related to GitHub. And obviously, after all of this, we will be looking into some of the open source contribution. And after that, just a minute, minimize this. Yeah. And after that, we will be going to learn how to contribute to a project, maybe a GitHub project, and obviously we'll be doing it live, right? So this session is hosted by BlueLearn, and obviously I'm taking your session. This is Riddhi Suteri, and yeah. Before starting the session, let's give a brief introduction about myself. If I have to summarize myself, I can summarize in like 4 or 5 points. That is basically full stack web developer, and currently a Scalar technical writer, and I had like decent experience of open source working with it. From the last 1 or 1.5 years, I've been working constantly into this projects. Last year I was a mentor for GoldScript Summer of Code, and this year I'm just a project admin for awesome Chrome projects. And apart from that, I have also taught and mentored 1,000+ students till now, both in online and offline modes. Yeah. So if you guys want to communicate with me after this session, you can find me on Twitter with this handle, and I'm also available on LinkedIn with this user. Yeah. So let's get started. First of all, let me show you that what is Git and how can you download it. So you just have to write Git download on your browsers. Yeah. So the first link that appears is the official download link from where you can download the Git. Right. Obviously, I'll not be showing you how to download a simple software, right? Because it is just a basic thing. You click on download and you just click agree and next and next and next, right? It's that simple. So till the time I'm explaining what is Git and why it is needed, you guys can download this. Great. So let's start off by introducing that what is Git and why it is needed. So as Vaishnavi said yesterday, suppose you are working on your college project, right? and suppose you have made a final copy of that project, and suppose you have named it, submission.ppt or submission.pdf whatsoever, and suddenly your friends calls and said, bro, you have to add some things extra to the project and make these changes and prepare a final draft, right? So you make the changes and you make the file as like final submission.ppt, right? Then you again receive a call saying you need to add these more things. Then you will say like final submission.ppt or ppt, something like that, right? So this cannot go on for many times. You cannot just make the changes and you cannot name final to pakka final, things like that, right? So in these situation, version control tools help us in tackling these situation. Like you can create multiple copies of any project that you want, and you can actually store it without taking much of your energy or taking much of your storage, and that can be handled by a software. That software is called Git, right? So this is the basic thing, that what Git is and why it is needed. I'm not going into much deeper things like what is version control and how it basically helps, because these all things are covered by Vaishnavi yesterday, right? So I hope I am clear by this point. And in the meanwhile, you guys have also downloaded the Git on your system. Just a minute, let me head over to the chat so that we can start configuring it. Just a minute. Okay, let's pop it out. Okay, cool. So yeah, okay. So till the time, if you guys have any difficulties, going at this point, you guys are free to write that in the chat section. Okay. So for those of you who have not attended yesterday's session, that's not a worry, because that was just a kind of an introduction about Git. I've just given it into like simple layman terms. If you have understood this, if you have understood this thing, that is more than enough to get started for the event. Yeah, all clear. Great. Great. Okay, so I think we can start with the next thing. That once you have downloaded Git on your system, what's next? Git installed. Great. Yeah. So what's next is that you want to configure Git according to your username and your your email IDs. So how do you do this? It's just simple 2-line commands that you run in your installed Git, so that it recognizes you as the user and you can start working with it, right? So let me just.
Riddhi, if you could present your screen in full screen mode, because that will just help us look at the commands better.
Okay.
Or maybe type the commands as well on.
Yes, I'll be just showing the the live demonstration. Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Okay. So these are the commands. Don't worry, I'll write it in front of you. So first of all, I'll be opening up my Git bash. Also, one more thing, if you guys have installed Git on your systems, you can use this Git bash in any of your command terminal. Like if you are using PowerShell, if you are using like window terminal or anything like that, you can access this Git bash from any of this terminals. I hope this font is clear, right? Is it visible to you guys if I'm writing it?
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay, cool. So the first thing is that you configure it, right? So how do you configure it is like simple two commands. First thing is that you say that git config -- global, and then you say user dot name, and you write your name in here, right? Suppose my name is Riddhi, so I'll write Riddhi Suteri in here. But since I've already configured this as per my, as per my credentials, so yeah, because okay, sorry. Dot name, then I have to okay. Config - global, and then user dot name. Okay, I need to give a space. Right. So it has executed successfully. Now, how do I know that my user is successfully initiated? Right. So for that, I just have to write the same command. Sorry. Space user dot name without giving the name. Right. So this will pop out Riddhi Suteri, right? So that shows that my name is successfully initiated, right? Similarly, I'll press the up arrow key because I'm too lazy to write all these commands again and again. So I'll write email instead of name, and also obviously I'll have to rename the name in here as well. So I'll be writing my email in here. So solution.com. Right. Yeah. So again, I'll press enter, and this has successfully configured my email. How do I know this? Because this command is showing my email. Right. So I hope that till this point you have got my point. Like how do you actually create, or how do you actually configure your emails and usernames? Right. So for those of you who want to actually type it out, I'm just giving you this command in the chat section. Right. By the way, you can also get this from Google. It's simple command. If you write this, it will be on the top. Yeah. So I hope this point is very, very clear to you guys. And now we can move on to the next step, right? So give me a thumbs up or give me yes that if you guys are clear till here. Okay. Good. Also, if any of you guys, okay, someone is ready. There is a good. Okay, good. So also, if any of you feels left out okay, because maybe their internet is not working, their software is not downloaded, something like that, there is not an issue, because this will be available on their YouTube channel. So you can go out to the channel and you can do these things manually after the session ends, right? Chalo. So once you have configured the Git on your system, it's the action time. Let's start doing some commands, and let's deep dive, and let's see how to work around with Git, right? So just a minute. Let me pop up to the next slide. Okay. So we will be now working with some of the basic commands. Let me first of all, okay, there is no need of slide. Let me just, do it straight away. So the first thing is that whenever you are working with Git, right? So you have to first of all initialize a project into Git. So suppose your PC has thousands of such folders and such files and etc. So all of these cannot be a Git repository, right? You have to selectively choose a folder in which you want to initialize your Git. So this thing is that just first of all, let's go to the desktop. Let me show you this. Okay. So first of all, I'll be making a new folder in here wherein we'll be practicing all of our Git. Maybe let's say demo Git or Git demo, whatever. So let's jump into it. And this is the folder where we will be practicing all of our Git commands, right? So the first thing in here is, let's first of all use this one, because I'll have to open another one into this, right? So you can, as I said, you can either open your Git bash terminal, or you can also open your terminal into which folder you want to practice your Git, right? So right now I'm opening the Git bash because I like it. It's that simple. Okay, so let me maximize it a bit. Okay. So right now you can see that it is a totally empty folder, and I have not written any command, and I've not actually did anything in here. So the first thing that we are going to do here is git init, right? Init is a short form for initialization, right? And as soon as I press enter to this, it says that initialize an empty Git repository, right? And this is giving some path, etc., etc. So as soon as I hit enter to this, you can see that there is one folder. Obviously, this is an hidden folder. And if you guys have enabled your show hidden folder options, you can also see that. So the thing is that whenever we are initializing Git, or whenever we are working with Git, it maintains a hidden folder into your system wherein it tracks all the files that are changed, who changed those files, and all the different things and stuff like that. We are not going to do that. What all file it takes and etc, etc. I'm just looking into it on a surface level, that it creates some files which stores all the information, right? This is the very first step, and you obviously have to do it only once whenever you are initializing a project, right? Okay, let's see some chat. You can change your name. Yes. Okay, this is yes. Okay, good. So this is the basic thing, right? Now let's do some things. Let's create some files, and let's start using Git into it. So obviously, first of all, I'll be making some simple files, like I'll be making a text file. Maybe let's call it like file1.txt. Uh, and let's open this and maybe let's see what do we have in Git for us. So the first thing was git init, right? To initialize a empty Git repository. The next common command is git status, right? Git status give us an idea about what is currently going on with our project, right? Do we have any files that are added? Do we have any files that needs to be tracked, or something like that? So this is a very common command that you will be encountering while working with Git. That is git status. So when I have entered this git status command, it is giving me some messages like on git, on branch masters, no commit yet, untracked file, and stuffs like that, commit, untracked file, etc. So don't worry about that. We will be discussing each and everything step by step in further in the session. The first thing, let's take up the first thing, that is this key branch may we will see this later, commits and tracked untracked files, right? So if I have to put git into simple 2 or 3 areas, I'll say that, just a minute, I'll explain this with the help of a pen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if I have to explain git into like some sections, I can say that git basically has 3 sections, right? The one is that untracked files. Sorry about my writings, I'm terrible with my handwriting. The next thing is staging area, right? I hope you are getting the sense that what I'm writing. Sorry. Yeah, the second area is staging area, and the third area is like final commit area. Right. So untracked files are all those files which are there in the project, and these files are not currently being tracked by the Git. Git is suppose maybe some strict parent or something like that, and these files are their children, right? These are small children, and yeah, Git is basically monitoring all these kits, and untracked files are basically those kits which are not being currently monitored by this strict parent, right? So these can freely roam around, and Git doesn't give a shit about what these are doing and all the things. Now the second area is like staging area, wherein all these kits will be placed in maybe a day boarding school, or maybe maybe around some house arrests or something like that. So therein these students will be under like strict checking, like what they are doing, what changes they have done or things like that. So this is kind of a staging area. And the final area is like, committing area, wherein these kids, okay, I don't have an example for that, but this is like final area, wherein you can say that, okay, files have been changed, right? Or maybe suppose say that these kids have done some achievements. Yeah, this will be the example. These kids have done some achievements, like this will be like some checkpoints of these kids, right? So these all are the basic 3 sections that we have in the Git, right? Currently, this is saying that these files are in untracked area, right? All these files that are in untracked area are shown in the red color, right? All the files that will be in the staging area, these will be shown in the green color, right? Okay, sorry about this mess, but but I hope I was successful in explaining you guys that about untracked area, staging areas, and commit areas, right? Just a minute. Let's head over to chat and let's see what we have now. It just gives yeah, great. So are we clear till now? I mean, obviously don't bother much if you didn't get what is untracked and how it is related to Git and etc. I'm just explaining the same things for for the next round. Right? Can we move on ahead? Give me a thumbs up or say yes or whatsoever. But yes, yeah. Yeah, it might get a kind of it might feel like a bouncer to you guys if you are joining you for the first time, but I thought of explaining it beforehand so that we have a clear idea about what are untracked files, what are staging area, and what are like commits. All these terms are, by the way, scary to most of you guys. Okay, clear. Chalo. So okay, now we know that branching. Yeah, sure, I'll be discussing branchings and all these things later once we cover all these simple things. Yeah, okay, chalo. So now we know that what are untracked files. Now let's see that these disturbing kids or these kids, how do we add into boarding schools or into house arrests, right? So to do that, what we have to do is we have to add these files, right? So one thumb rule is that whenever you are writing some Git commands, you always has to write Git in front of that, right? You can see Git here. You can also see Git here as well. Just a minute. Yeah, you can also see Git here as well, right? Again, Git. So one thumb rule is that whenever you are dealing with Git, you have to write Git, right? In the very first line, in the very first word. Okay. So to add these files, you can do is git add. Now it's up to you that if you want to specifically add one file or two files, or if you want to add all these files in once. If you want to add single, I mean, obviously there is one file right now, but if you want to add this file only, how you can do this is you write the file name, right? File1.txt. Okay, sorry. There is a one single mistake that I have done earlier, which I did not address that time. The file will be file1.txt is the by default extension of a text document, right? I've written .txt.txt. So I'll simply name it file1 now, right? So now also let's add some things before adding this file into the staging area. Let's say this is file1. Let's add this into file and let's save it. And now it's the time when we add this file by writing git add dot, or maybe git add file1. Okay. Did not match any file. Oh, sorry. Cool, right? So you guys can see now that visually there is no change, right? Still there is one file, there is still .git and etc. But what will happen? Just a minute. Where is my taskbar? Just a minute. Just a minute, guys. Okay, can you see my Git terminal now? Let's remove this one. I think this is causing some issue. So now what will happen is if I write git status, now here is the catch. Now you guys can see that there is no more red zone and there is only okay, that is why I was not able to see this. So now what the scenario is that whenever I write git status now, I'm going to see a new green file that says that this file is new file, right? This file is to be committed now, right? And there is no more untracked file right now. I hope now you are getting the thing about untracked area, and now we have pushed this file into the staging area, right? Which is the monitoring area, right? So let's make it a bit more clear by adding one more file. And or maybe let's just complete this step, then we will repeat all these steps for the next file, right? So now I have committed this area. Now Git is constantly monitoring this file. Now suppose I am satisfied with this change and I want to make an achievement, or I want to make a checkpoint like, okay, this feature is done, or this thing is done. So how can I do this is simply by writing git commit. But don't worry about these commands. You obviously don't have to memorize and cram all these commands. Because these commands are just a Google away from you guys. So you just need to know that, okay, the first thing is we initialize a project, right? The second thing is we add some files which we want to track. The third thing is that we will add these, we will push these files from the staging area to the committing area, right? This is the basic work. And I will also be revising, summarizing all these steps once we go ahead, right? So please bear with me till then. I also, know that I'm going a bit fast and I'm also introducing a lots and lots of terms right now, but, just bear with me. So the next thing is that we want to commit these changes, right? How do we commit these changes? By simply writing git commit, and then we add a, M flag. M flag signifies that we are giving a message, right? Why message is required? Like this, giving this message is a, mandatory thing. You cannot just commit without giving a message. Because suppose you are making a project, or suppose you are building on some cool stuff, wherein suppose let's take an example of Zoom. Suppose when Zoom was initially built, it will be like Zoom 1.2, right? Whenever you are making a version, you specify some commands, or you specify some key features to Zoom 0. Suppose Zoom 1.0 has like audio calling features, right? Then suppose they have evolved some features and they'll be like Zoom 2.0. Therein they will be have some like video call features. Suppose Zoom 3.0, then they'll be having some screen share features, right? So you cannot go committing a file without giving a message, right? So that is why we write a message like here. Like suppose we say added file1, these messages are, as per your creativity, whatever you want to like, you want to type. Now, once I've written this command, it says that some master, some one file change, etc., etc., and something like that, right? We obviously don't have to worry about that. We just want to check is what is the status of this command. I mean, what is status of Git right now? Now, it's interesting that whenever we write Git status now, we will be getting that on branch master, nothing to commit and working to clean, right? This is, again, some new thing. Initially, when we wrote Git status, initially when we wrote Git status, it was giving some untracked files and stuff like that. Then when we added these files, it was giving that like added new file. Yeah, it gave like new file added. And now when we committed this file, this is giving like the on branch master, nothing to commit and working tree is right. So these are the like 3-4 basic commands. That is, firstly, you add a file into a tracking area. Second thing is you commit it. And the third thing is you check the status, right? Now, how do I know that this status is, this thing is published or not, this version is published or not? So this is again one common command, that is git log, right? Now, here is something interesting that says, let me resize it again. Yeah, it says that there is some commit 97, etc., etc. There's some long character. Then it says head, master, etc. Then, interestingly, it said the author is Riddhi Suteri, whose email address is this and this, and the date is current April and etc., etc. And he has added file 1, right? This was the same message that I wrote earlier, right? If you guys remember that I've written this message earlier, where I wrote, exact this message is copied in here. So this says that there is a version history being maintained by my changes, right? I hope these commands are a bit more clear to you by now. Let's head to the chat section and let's see where are we. Dot as yes, exactly. Dot add is used for dot is used to add all the files at once. Yeah, you can add. Yeah. Okay. So give me a thumbs up or give me a yes if you guys are clear till here. Okay, clear. And if you're still not clear, don't worry. I'll be again summarizing this because I want to, great. Chalo. Great. So let's do this thing again quickly and let's summarize that what we have done till now. So now again, I'll be adding another file. Right. Okay. I'll be again adding another file. Just a minute. Yeah. Let's add another file. And now I want you guys, I cannot turn off the videos right now. Arnav, can you turn off the videos?
Yeah, that's done. That's done.
Okay. Chalo. So yeah, file 2 I'll be writing. So this is the same step that I'll be doing again. That I have written. Sorry, I have made another file, and herein I'll write this is file 2. I'll be saving this. Now I want a little bit of help from you guys. I'm stuck and I forgot some of the commands. So let's start off by writing git status, right? Because obviously I have to, whenever I'm changing some files or whenever I'm doing some new things, let's constantly ping git key, hey, what's the status right now, right? So I'll be checking git status, but what command it should give, I mean what result it should give. Will it give like nothing here to work, or nothing's to work on, working tree clean, or untried file, stage file? What result it should get? Can any of you help me with that? I've added another file, right? And I've not done, yeah, exactly, untracked files. Yeah. Okay, so now you can see that there is one untracked file saying that file2.txt because I have not done anything with this file right now. Now, what I'll be doing is I'll be, I will be monitoring this file with the help of Git. So I'll write, what command should I write? Should I write git add or should I write git commit directly? I want to add this file to the staging area. Should I add it or should I commit it directly? Add, exactly, right. So yeah, git add, and obviously you have to name the file that you want to add. One thing is you name the file simply, right? file2.txt, or the second thing is you can add a dot. Obviously, after giving a space, if you write like git add dot, it won't work, right? You have to give a proper space after writing add. So when you write git add dot, it will again do the same thing, because adding a single file or adding all the files that is a single file, that are obviously the same thing, right? Now what we'll be doing is again we will ping git and say that what is the status, and this will again give us the new file is added, that is file2.txt, right? So obviously this should be the command. Now I'll be committing this by writing git commit -m, and I'll maybe say that added file2, right? Cool. Again the same thing, and again obviously if I say git status, it will again say that on branch master, nothing to commit and working directly. Again I'll want to check the log of this, okay, what was the version, or what was the history of the git. So interestingly, you can see that there is one more node attached to the git that says ki Riddhi Suteri again did this change at this in this date, and the message that he gave was he added file, right? You can also see that the previous message that we gave, right? So this is very simple thing, and if you know these things, I think it's more than 80 to 90% of the git that you will be possibly be working. Obviously there are things like branching and reverting back to changes and deleting things. Obviously that will be done later, but these are the very basic core commands, right? So if this thing is very, very clear to you guys, you can give a yes, we are clear till here, or you can give a thumbs up so that we can start over the next thing, and so that I have an idea that you are getting the things that I'm saying. Also, one more thing, if you guys feel like I should take it a bit slower, or I should take it a bit faster, you guys can also suggest this in the chat. Great. Great. Okay, so if we are clear, all clear till now let's move on to some of the other commands. Okay, so if we look closely, we have done git init, we have done git status. Yeah, we have also done git add, this is an optional command like git add dot or git add the file name. Then we have also done git commit, and also we have done git log. One more thing that I forgot to tell is if you want to if you don't want to see this much long command, you can also write git log --- one liner. Sorry, one line. Yeah, one line, so that it gives you a short and simple message history, like I've added file2, I've added file1 in the last. Yeah, this is a very basic command, right? So these all are the things. Now there is one more interesting thing that you can do with the git is suppose you have done like 2-3 files, you have made like certain changes, and now you just want to stick back, or you just want to go back to a certain change. Suppose I have like certain 4 to 5 versions of Zoom into my system. Now, suppose if I want to, just explore around what was there in this Zoom's initial version, right? So I can do that easily using this one command. I can, easily check out to that version where, maybe I can easily check out to version 1, version 2, version 3, right? This is the thing. So how do we do this actually? So the basic thing in here is if you guys can notice that there is some hash code, you say, or git hash or whatsoever. There is like some code, unique code. You guys can see that this is a whole long code. There's again this whole long code. So what you have to do is you first of all have to see the log of the git history, that what all changes were made by whom at what change at what time. And suppose if I want to go at this commit, right? If I want to see the file one, when sorry, copy this by, I cannot use control C in here, right? So I will just copy this commit hash, and I'll go the command prompt, and I will write also till the time I want to show you this, that you can see that there are 2 files right now, right? File 1 and file 2. Now I want to go back to the previous version where there was only 1 file, right? So please keep your eyes on there as well. So I'll write git checkout, and then I will be pasting the hash that I've copied from the last message, right? And as soon as I hit enter, this giving some suggestion, etc., etc. Now, if you have noticed that there is only one file remaining right now. This was the very first version that we have worked with, right? And if you open this, this is the exact same file that was the. This is the file, right? So in this way, you can obviously there are only 2 messages right now, so we can only go to the file version 1 or version 2. But if you have like a really long history, you can first of all go into the log. You can get the commit hash, and you can obviously do git checkout and that hash machine, right? So you can be able to get to that version, right? So I hope this is also clear to you guys that how do you actually move around to a previous version, right? If it is clear, please give a thumbs up. If it is not, please raise your queries. We are happy to have your questions.
Just have one doubt. Suppose I use this command, right, and I go back to version 1. Will I be able to come back and like restore the version 2?
Yeah, obviously, this is the main thing that you don't want to be into that version 1, right? So if you, how do you actually do this, right? If you want to, go back at the head itself, the latest thing into the Git is called the head, right? So if you want to go or reset your head into the, the latest thing, how do you do is you simply write git checkout and you write master, right? It will take you to the latest change. Right. Again, you can see that there we have our file 2. And if we again check, also one more thing that I forgot to show you is, let's get back to file 1 again. Right. And let's see its history. Right. Now you can see there is only one history. Why? Because this is the very first version. Right. And now let's get back to our current state. Now we are at current state, and let's again log git. Yeah. You can see there are 2 histories right now. Right, I hope it is also clear to you, right? Like just check out and copy the copy the hash that you have copied from the log, right? Sure. If this is also very clear to you, let's move on with the next things. Okay, just this. Let's go to the next slides. Okay, so this is basically, I've also written that that's enough of the Git for now. And if you have done these much commands, that is more than enough. There are obviously more commands like cloning and pushing and pulling that we will be learning along the way when we are contributing to the projects. Okay, so let's move to the next thing, that is GitHub and the terminologies related to it. Right. So before the session was starting, I have suggested you guys you can check out github.com and you can make your account into it if you have not done already. So what GitHub is, you have been doing all these changes into a local system, right? You have been maintaining all these histories and you have been adding files, you have been tracking files, right, in your local systems only. Now what will happen if maybe due to some reasons your local system, you are unable to access your local system, or your data corrupts or something like that. So you want to have a kind of a backup of all your files into a central repository, or into a central location onto cloud, wherein you can or maybe your team can access that code, right? So this is where GitHub comes in, and it is kind of a platform wherein you can host your repositories. Repositories basically is kind of a folder in GitHub terms, right? So whenever I'm using the term repository, don't get intimidated. Don't get intimidated by it. It's just a folder that's in the GitHub term, right? So you can host your local files into there, and obviously GitHub is a source of like contribution. You can connect with a lot of your mentors, lot of your team members, and you can obviously explore many projects, and there's a lot more things related to it, but I'm obviously not going to deal with it right now because Vaishnavi has already given a beautiful talk about it yesterday, right? So I'll head out to my GitHub. So let me show you around. Like this is simple, the basic homepage of it. You can see your recent repositories, that is folder in here, or your recent fork burns or something like that. There is simple following tab. You can receive notification from here. From there you can see your profile, etc., and so and so. Right. But obviously we are not going to deal with this thing. Now what we are going to do is we will be making a GitHub repository, right? And we will be pushing our changes that we have done to a local system into this repository, right? And once we have done that, what we'll be going to do is we will be taking a project and we will be cloning that project from GitHub into your system or your local system or whatever you are working with. And then we will be making some changes and then pushing back these changes to that folder, right? This is basically contribution, right? All these contributions or all these things that you have listened or heard from someone, bro, I'm contributing to this project, bro, this have you heard about GitHub, or sorry, GSOC, or maybe any other summer of contributing or winter of contributing student, right? This is basically contributing thing, right? So that is the thing that we will be discussing in this session, right? So the first thing is we'll be creating a repository. So how do you create a repository? Is you can see this green button in here, so you can click new from here. Just a minute. Let's put this here. Okay. Also, let's take some questions if you guys have. How clear of here? How do we delete a repository from our local machine? Just delete a full. Yeah. It doesn't delete a full. Okay, if you want to delete a repository from your local folder, it's that simple. Delete the folder itself. Or if you don't want to, disturb Git into, constantly tracking those files, what you can also do is you can simply delete this, git.git folder. Also, one more thing, that suppose if you guys want here, I want to delete a file. Suppose I want to delete the recent comment that I have done. So how do you do is, it's a bit, tricky command, but it's that simple that you can maybe write, what's that for git reset, I think, git reset head. And if you like, type this command, this will delete the last string, the last changes that you have done. You guys will ask, suppose if I have 10 changes and if I want to, pick the third change or like the fourth change, how do I do? Right. It will be a kind of a bit complex thing, like you have to use cherry pick or you have to use rebasing. So we are not going to discuss this thing right now, but don't worry, I'll give you the articles and the video resources of that. You can check out that later. I'm just discussing, suppose if you want to do the if you want to delete the latest comment, so how do you do that? You can do that using this simple command, git reset head and this caret symbol, right? This will delete the last command. And there's one more thing, that how do you delete a staged file and etc, that we will discuss later, maybe after the whole session concludes, or maybe I can give you the resources for that, right? So don't worry about that. Sure. So let's make a file. The repository may, you have to give a name. So maybe let's say BlueLearn demo, right? Demo. You can give a description. It's optional, but I'm not going to give it. You can add a README as well. Currently, I'm not adding this README. Now you can see that this button, wherein this will create a repository. Great. So as soon as you hit that green button, you will get these some commands that will help you in establishing a connection between your local folder to the GitHub, right? So you can see that they are saying that you can either just drag and drop your files into this folder if you are not using it, or if you are using it. So first of all, you can use these commands like git init on your system. Then you need to add these files. Then you need to commit and etc. But since we have already have a local repository on your system, we are not going to create one. We are directly going to push an existing repository from the command line, right? This was our repository, right, that we have been working on, like file 1, file 2, etc. So for that, you can see that GitHub has given you some commands. The first thing is that it is giving that git remote add origin, right? So it is saying that whenever you are connecting your local machine or whenever you're connecting your local repository to GitHub, so you have to add a remote to it, like kind of a link between your local system to the GitHub. That will be this thing, right? This is github.com. This is my username, GitHub username. Then this is the repository's name, right? And the .get at its end, right? So whenever you write this, it will establish a channel between your folder and the GitHub repository. Now then you will have to, this thing is push your main branch into this, right? Also, one more thing that I've missed was it was saying on branch master or branch main, etc. Right? This is the main, thread there. Then where we were working. Whenever you are working with Git, you can obviously create some multiple branches and etc. Which we will be discussing later. But just understand this way: there is a basic thread wherein we are working on all these changes, and all these changes are being stored into some point at this thread. Like this is that simple. You can call it master or you can call it main, right? So this is to put the main, and this command is to push that main branch into this remote thing. So what I'll be going to do is I'll just copy pasting all these things. I'll just copy this and I'll paste these things to the command line. Shift insert. Okay, I think. Okay. So as soon as I hit enter, I'll hopefully be getting I'll hopefully be getting these things. And if you are new to using Git and GitHub, this might also ask you to authenticate yourself, because this terminal does not know that which account do you want to set in, or do you have that proper authentication. Are you the real owner of that repository before pushing that change? Right. So this will open up a pop-up saying sign in with GitHub. So you have to write your username and you have to write your password and you have to authenticate that. Right. So after that, you can see something like enumerating changes, etc., etc., and so and so and so. Right. So again, if I'll refresh this repository, great. Now you can see that there are two files, right? Similar to the ones that we have on our local system, file1.txt and file2.txt. Right. And if I click this and if I open this, you can see that this is file 1. Right. Again, this is file 2. Yeah, as expected. And one more thing here is that you can see little messages that we have written, like added file 1, added file 2. And you can obviously see that there are 2 commits, right? So commits are basically, kind of a checkpoints, right? As I've said, you make while, dealing with the project. If you click this, you will also, see that who did the changes at how many hours ago and stuff like that, right? So this is how you basically connect your local system or your local repository to a GitHub repository, right? So I hope I'm clear. You guys are clear at this point. Just pop up some chats. Let's see. Okay, so you're saying that I'm getting an error that says bad configuration. Maybe because you are not signed up with the GitHub. As I said, you have to authenticate yourself before pushing these changes, or maybe might be the case that you have written some wrong commands or you have missed some things, right? Does the same email I need to be email ID needs to, I don't think that it is the case, because if there is some repository and anybody who has this access of writing into that can change this. Yeah, you will be getting the recording of this session on the BlueLearn channel. Yeah. So are we guys clear till here? Did you get that point about how do we create a repository and how do we push the changes from a local system into this? Yeah, clear. Cool. I'm waiting for two or three more clears, then I'll proceed. BlueLearn YouTube channel. Yeah, you'll get this. Also, one more thing. Are you guys enjoying this? Is it something that gives you a sense of achievement? Okay, I have created a repository, and also by the end of this session, you can host your simple website over the web. And also one more thing is GitHub gives you like kind of a free hosting wherein you can host your static sites for free. Suppose if you have made like any simple HTML page, yeah, you will be getting the recordings, like simple any HTML pages or something like that. You can host these files into GitHub repository, and this will host this into a domain given by GitHub. Right? This will go like GitHub maybe ridsuteri.github.io/website or slash something. Okay. So maybe the case that something might go bounce because I'm taking into consideration that you guys might have attended yesterday's session, and obviously I cannot go into explaining each and everything in this short span of time. But don't worry, if you feel like asking any questions in between, you are happy. I mean, we are happy to have your questions. Also, one more thing, huge shout out to Gurjeet, who is assisting me into resolving your queries. Yeah. So, okay. Okay, ciao. Okay. So, yeah. So if we are clear till now, like we know that how do we deal with simple things in Git, and how do we push these changes into a repository. Now it's the show time, and now let's take another repository, maybe somebody's repository. And suppose if I see somebody's repository, maybe somebody has hosted a website, or somebody has, hosted some solutions to any algorithms or something like that. And I want to be part of that repository. I want to contribute my code to that repository. How do I actually do it? Right. And also, since GSOC, this video is in this session is in collaboration with GSOC, which is currently running an open source program wherein there are some projects and there are some mentors and there are some contributors. Actually, there's a huge of contributors who can contribute to the project, right? So we are getting we'll be getting into how do we actually contribute to a project, right? So let's take Gurjeet's project. Let's take Gurjeet's project and let's start contributing to it. Okay, let's start contributing to it. So one more thing is, let me put up first slide wherein I have mentioned the steps. Right. So obviously, let me present it before going into the steps. I hope it's completely visible to you, right? The text is visible to you, right? Whatever I've written in here. Give me a thumbs up if these are visible. Else I'll maybe zoom this. Yeah, it's visible. Okay. Chalo. So the basic flow of any contribution goes like, if you are creating, if you are intending, if you are showing your interest into contributing to a project, the first thing that you have to do is create an issue, right? Now, some of you will say, what is an issue, right? How do I create an issue? So this way we will be looking. First of all, you have to, notify that person, hey, so-and-so, I want to, I have this thing in my mind and I want to contribute to your project. So if you are open to collaboration, I want to work on this, and you can raise an issue. And if he sees and if he feels like, okay, I need a contribution, he can assign you that issue, right? We will go into that thing later. The next thing is you have to fork that repo into your account. Obviously, this will again go bounces for most of you guys, but we will definitely be looking at what is forking and how do you fork it. Then the thing is, suppose you have forked the repository, you have to clone it into your system. You have to pull these changes, or you have to pull those folder from the GitHub to your local system, right? And once you have pull this code onto your local system, you can start working around with it. You can start making the changes. You can do the desired changes. And once you have done these changes, you have to again push these changes from your local system to your GitHub account. And from there, what you can do is you can open a pull request, right? Again, what is a pull request? I'll be discussing later. And once you have opened a pull request, and that's it. That's the last step that you have to do, and ta-da, you are done, right? You have successfully opened a pull request, and hopefully the project admin or the project mentor will see your pull request and will merge or suggest you some changes. Right. Now let's just a minute. Let's escape this. Right. So let's go into each of these steps one by one, and let's see how do we do it. Right. So are we clear till now? Also, these are some alien terms for you, but let me give a demonstration of how do I do all these things, and then we will take questions. Sure. So you can see that this is Gurjeet's project, that is first contribution, that is specifically made to for a demonstration purpose. Now the first thing that you have to do is, suppose if I want to make changes to this project, I cannot do any changes to anybody's project just right away. So the thing is, you have to fork this account, or you have to make a copy of this project into your local system or into your GitHub account, right? From where you can make the changes into your copy of version. Suppose like you have a kind of a template thing, or suppose you have a kind of a notice, and you cannot just directly change into that notice. First of all, you have to get a copy of that notice or maybe that paper, and you will make the changes in there, and then you submit the draft of that to to your superior, saying that, okay, I want to do these and these changes. And if the superior is impressed by your changes, he will make the final changes on your behalf. This is kind of a similar into this situation. So how do we do this thing is we fork this repository, right? You can see this fork. on the very right hand side. So you click on this fork, and this will say what repository name do you want to create. And once you click this fork, now you can see that forking this thing. And one more thing you guys can see right now is, yeah, now this is Riddhi Suteri / first contribution, not Gurjeet's Singh's first contribution, right? So this is a kind of a copy of that repository into my account, right? Now I can make whatever changes that I want to do in this, right? It's that simple, right? The first thing was, okay, there's one more thing that that I've missed. The first thing was creating an issue, right? Uh, so you can head over to this section, issues, and now you can create a new issue. Issue is basically notifying him ki, okay, I want to do this and that into your project. So maybe I say that ki, adding contributor demo, maybe whatever I feel like writing, I'll write it here. And if I want to give a description of that, I will give the description here, but right now I don't feel like giving it, so I'll simply submit a new issue. So once this issue is open, now it's open, and you can click on this and you can see that keep adding contributors demo. So this is a thing that I want to change or that I want to do in the project. And suppose if Gurjeet's feel like, okay, he should do this changes, or this changes should be done into the project, what he will do is he will assign me this project. So right now I cannot assign because this is not my account. So maybe if Gurjeet's available, he will be assigned. But right now I feel like contributing to the project. So I will contribute to the project. Okay, great. You can see that I'm right now assigned to the project, and now I am entitled to work into this, right? So what I'll do is I'll simply quickly head over to my fork version. Yeah, so I will quickly go into this, and what I'll do is I will make a copy of this project into my local system, right? And how do we do it actually is you are seeing this green button, right? So you click this and you have to copy this HTTPS port. You copy this, and maybe let's head over to the desktop and let's open our git bash, and let's yeah, let's resize it a bit. I hope my forking and my issue creation thing is clear to you guys, right? So if you have any questions regarding forking and issues, do let me know. We'll sort this out before going into next thing. Just a minute. Just give me. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's move on. And how do we actually clone a project? Is writing git clone and then copy pasting the thing that we have written. Shift insert this. I think that was not copied successfully. Yeah, copied now. Git clone, and I'll write git ins. Yeah. So once I write this, you can see that cloning into this and this and that and that. And if we go to the desktop, we can see that first contribution is here, right? And all these files which we were seeing into the, yeah, which we were seeing in the remote repository is now in our system, right? Let's also close the other folder in. Just a minute, this taskbar is annoying me a bit. So yeah, so these are the files right here. Now what we have to do here is we have made a contributors page wherein we will be adding the contributors of this project, right? So you have to just open this project, clone it into your system, and you just have to simply type your name or maybe your LinkedIn account, or maybe your you can link your GitHub account whatsoever you feel like adding. Let me show you this. Yeah, so this is Gurjeet's and this is mine that I have simply copy pasted just before the session. Now maybe let's add Arnav's. I don't know his LinkedIn account, but just I'll add his name. Maybe maybe. And also, there's one more thing that you guys can do is there's one simple good practice while you are making some changes. That is making a separate branch and then making the changes, right? let me introduce this very quickly, because this is a very important thing that you need to keep in your mind. To all these guys who will, this might sound a bit of a bouncer. They can ignore it for now, but maybe they can go through it a bit later, right? So let me just quickly introduce this. So when I was saying, let me explain this with a pen. Let me explain this in a better way now. So what initially we were doing was, this was a simple branch we were saying, right? Which was main, by the way, right? So whenever we were making changes like, okay, change one, okay, change two, right? Okay, change three, right? Okay, change four. Similarly, right? Change five, and so on. Right. Now, how branching works is, suppose this is the main thing, this is the main branch, and I don't want to tamper this. I don't want to, make any faulty changes to this. So what I can do is, let's delete this and let's start another one. This was the main branch, and now I can, create a separate branch from here, and I can make the changes into that branch, and maybe after some time I can push this branch into the main branch. Right. So this was main, and maybe this was feature, maybe feature one, feature two, etc., like that. So this is the thing about branching, and we will be covering this in a very short span. Hopefully you will get this. If not, that will not be an worry. Let's go into, let's yeah, let's go into a command. And the first thing about branching is, if you have to inquire that how many branch this project actually has, you can see that. Okay, sorry. I have to cd into that branch now before. Yeah. So what I've done this is to, just going into that repository, because initially I was into the desktop folder, right? Now I'm into the first contribution folder. So if I write git branch, you will see that there is one branch that is with the name of master, and we are currently into that branch, right? This is why that's green. Right. Also, let's check that if you guys have any queries till now. Also, if you are clear till now, I mean, do you guys clear with the fork thing and creating issue and cloning this into your repository, into your local system before we start branching? If you are clear, give me a thumbs up, or maybe write a clear. I cannot see replies. Okay, clear. Cool. Chalo. So how will we create a new branch, right? We were discussing creating a new branch, right? So we will write git branch, and after that, suppose let's name a branch. Maybe let's write add user. So this thing which you write after the branch will be the name of your new branch, right? If I hit enter, visually there is no change, but if I write git branch again, I can see that, yeah, there is one more branch with the name of add user, right? I hope it's clear. Okay, we have created a new branch, and how if you have any issues or getting error, yeah, feel free to ask if you didn't get any point about how did this, etc. Yeah. So coming back to this, we have written git branch. Initially, git branch is used to just inquire about how many branch we have, right? Now, if you want to add a new branch, how do you do is git branch and then give a space and then write the name of the branch that you want to create, right? Now, there's one issue right here. I have created a new branch, but still I'm on the master branch, right? This is showing green, right? This is selected. So how do I actually check out from this master branch to this add user branch? It's that simple. You just have to write git checkout and just write the name of the branch that you want to check out, that you want to jump to. Yeah. Now you can see that we have jumped into the master branch. You have jumped into the branch add user. Also, one visual change is that you can see initially it was showing master, right? Everywhere it was showing master. Now it is showing add user, right? Which signifies that we are into the master branch, sorry, into the add user branch. Also, now let's manually check this. Yeah, this add user is green. Right. So we have checked out to a new branch. Also, this sums up a bit about branching. And then let's add these changes into this branch only. Right. We don't want to tamper the master branch. We will add this branch. I mean, we will make changes into that branch and push this branch into our, local repository, into our remote repository. Right. So we will open this contributors file. And maybe let's add an entry with the name of Arnav. And maybe hey, right, let's write just this only. Yeah, so this is the contribution that I want to do, and this is my contribution that I can do. Now you can see that there is some changes, but this is optional. So I have done these changes, and now let's see what Git has to say about it. Let's do this. Let's write git status. And again, you can see that we have modified something and etc. This is into untracked files. I think this sounds very, very similar to you guys now. Now, the next thing that we used to do was get adding things, right? So get add all, I can write get add dot, and again, I'll write git status, and I'll see that this is modified now. Now, if I want to, commit these changes, if I want to, I'm satisfied with the changes, I want to just push it right away. So what do I do is I write commit name, then I write added user to file. Right, it's clear now. Now if I write git status, I can see that there's nothing to add and etc. Now it is saying that we are onto the branch add user now, and there is nothing to commit, and working tree is clear. Right, I hope this thing is also clear to you by now. What was the message saying on branch add user, on branch master, right? And this thing that we have made a changes into another branch, right? Are we clear till now? I mean, how do we create a new branch? How do we check out to a new branch, and how do we make a change to a new branch? Right, clear. Okay. Also, if you feel like okay, branching is not very much clear to me right now, so you can obviously go out on Google, and you can learn about different commands about branching and how it how it's actually done, right? This will give a another perspective to you while doing the things. Right. So since it's clear now, since we have done the changes, now it's our time to push these changes into our remote repository. Right. This is a very crucial step. You just have to write a simple command to push these changes into your remote repository. How do you do it actually is just by writing git push. Now, whenever you are pushing the changes, you have to be specific about pushing your changes. The first thing you write is git push origin. Why I'm writing origin is origin. If you guys have noticed earlier when we were adding a remote repository, we were calling it a origin, right? The hashtag, the hash, or the kind of a HTTP code that I've copied initially. That was kind of a origin for us. We were establishing a channel, right? So this thing we have called it origin for sure. So we are pushing into that thing, and we are pushing our this branch add user branch into that repository, into that remote repository, right? So we will write git push origin, and obviously after that you will write your branch name that you have added. So I'll write this, and if I hit enter, yeah, now you can see that this and this and that and that. And if I go into just a minute, yeah, if I go into this, you can now see that add user has a recent push, etc., etc. And now here as well, first of all, let's refresh this. Yeah, now you can see that there are two branches right now, right? The one is the master, that is by default one, and there is this one new branch that we have initially created, I mean that we have just recently created, that is by the name of add user, right? And now we are almost a step closer to making our first contribution. We have made the changes, we have pushed these changes from a local system to a remote repository. Now we just have to create an open, we just have to open a pull request, right? So how do we do it? This is, there is this simple button saying that compare and pull request. You just have to hit enter to this, and as soon as you hit enter, this will be specifying that the changes from your repository, that's Riddhi Suteri, etc., from this branch will be, going straight away to Gurjeet's repository into the master branch, right? You can, give out a description about the changes that you have done. Maybe you can write, I have added contributor to the list or something like that, right? And sorry, and after that you can hit on this. Sorry, I think there was a typo with the contributor, but not an issue, right? And you can click on that button, and now you can see that there is one pull request that is open right now, and this is my pull request. Therein, if you want to, just peek into the code that I've written or the file that I've changed, you can obviously hit onto that tab, and it will say that. Okay, just a minute. Yeah. See, you can see that there is, some green thing. It is saying that Arnav Jaggi and etc. This is a recent change that I have made, right? So this is the very basic contribution that I have done. And if I, just head over to his repository now, okay, somebody have also, okay, somebody has also opened another issue, and there is one pull request opened by me right now. Yeah, you can see that by Riddhi Suteri just 44 seconds ago, and yeah, this is a pull request. Now, it's up to Gurjeet that if he wants to, modify these files, if you want to suggest me some changes or something like that, and if he's satisfied with my changes, he will merge this, and my code will be a part of the original code. Let me show you the original code right now. So this is the current version of the code right now. Now you can see that there is only 2 files right now. Now, if in some time, maybe if Gurjeet is available, he will be merging my code. He will be merging my pull request. And after that time, what you will be able to say is, you'll be able to see the changes that I've done in my local system into this file, right? So isn't this awesome? Like, just a minute, okay. Not merged there right now, but you have made some changes into your local system or something like that, and this is right now live into a some project. This is a very simple and short project, but suppose there are lots and lots of open source projects like the VLC media player that most of you use. So if you feel like contributing anything to it, like if you feel like you can change something to it, you can clone that thing, you can fork it, you can play around with it, you can make some changes, and if your changes get selected, you will be your code will be there into the live repository, and you will also be there, you'll be featured into the contributors list, like into the contributors list, like right now I'm being shown here. So this is the basic thing about opening a pull request, making simple contributions, and that's all. So are we clear till now? I mean, forking the projects, making some changes, and then opening a pull request. If you have any questions still here, you are. I cannot add the remote repository. So check if you have right access. I will check that. Maybe you are not signed in. Maybe this is the basic thing that happens most of the time. Like what are we talking about? Can you explain it a bit? Okay, that's for the question. Yeah. So are we clear till now? I mean, the basic things about it. Also, if you feel like yeah, I was going too fast and you were not able to catch up in between, you can obviously see the recordings into the channel later on. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Clear. So this is the basic thing about contributing. Key, how do you basically make some changes? These are obviously are very small changes. I've just written a simple text and I've just added it. But if you, by the way, you can go out to GSOC's website and you can find plenty of projects right there. You can see plenty of projects right there, and you can go and check out. You can go and check out whatever project suits you, like whatever language or technology you are comfortable with, and you can go into project and you can roam around with them, and you can make your contributions into that. Right. So this is the basic thing. Now let's see what else we have for now. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, this was the contributing part that I've done. And yeah, any questions that you have regarding the whole session, because we are about to end the session. We have discussed what Git was, how we have also done some changes with it. We have also, play around with some commands with it. And then we have discussed what GitHub is and how do we connect our local system with GitHub, I mean, local file with GitHub. then we have seen how do we contribute live to a project, right? So this was the basic thing that we have covered into session. If you have any doubts regarding any of the part of the section, you are you can ask these questions and we will answer you that. And if these things are very, very clear to you guys can, give your feedbacks into the comment section. Like, was this session helpful to you? Did you learn anything else? Did you learn anything new and anything? Or if you feel like these all things could be, changed, or this all things can be made better in the any sessions or something like that.
Right. We're open for feedback. We're
Yeah.
open for questions. If it's difficult for you to type out the question, you can raise your
Yeah.
hand and I'll get you on
Yes.
on voice as well. And you can ask your question, get it clarified by Riddhi. And we should be ending the session now.
Yeah.
It was an intensive session,
Yeah.
a very good start to Git and GitHub. If you felt it was overwhelming, you can watch the recording at your own pace after this event, and it will be available on our YouTube channel, and you can watch it and share it with your friends as well. This is one of the Git and GitHub classes I really enjoyed, and no nonsense, just straight to the point. What matters in like reality. Others, they give out a lot of commands. They do all of that, and it's not necessary, right, in everyday use. So this was a great session, and if you have any questions for Riddhi, if you have any questions further on, you can contact him on his socials. Make sure you're following him on LinkedIn and Twitter, as mentioned by him, and you can connect with him, ask him questions there, and you can head on to BlueLearn's Discord channel as well. We have the open source channel where you can put in your queries. Vaishnav will be there answering them. We'll have Riddhi also come in and answer a few queries on chat. And great. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in. If you have any feedback on how to improve the session, please be free to mention that as well. We are open to feedback and we'll iterate on it and work on it further. All right, great participation, guys. I really hope the audience starts their open source journey from now on and attends all the events that happen around open source and contribute to open source as well. It's an amazing community of members, and Riddhi is one of them. And thank you so much, Riddhi, again for coming in and taking this session. For those who are joining in, we have a session on cybersecurity tomorrow, and that'll be a good insight on cybersecurity as well. So this coding week will be, our main themes are open source and cybersecurity, and these are two main fields that are going to grow in the coming future. And thank you again for taking this session, Riddhi. We will wrap up today's session. Yash, we can go off stream and